The American dream is not home ownership. I think too many people have that messed up. They think that owning a house is what everybody wants. And I'm in real estate, and of course I want everybody to have a house. However, I think the American dream is making more and working less. Oh, sign me up for that, to leverage my life, to scale my life, and to get it to a place in which I have opportunities abound and time aplenty. With us today, by the way, my name is Erik Hatch of Hatch Broker by Real, a part of Place as well right now, and also Hatch Coaching. Look at all those titles. I feel like I'm like a fake doctor at this point. I'm just giving all these titles. With me is one of my best friends of all time, my brother from another mother, my bald-headed mister from another sister. I don't know how this all works, but Jordan Terrell, an incredible team leader and an even better guy out of Denver, Colorado. Jordan, how are you, brother?
I am good, and that intro had so much energy. I need more coffee, I think.
I'm all fired up, man.
I love it.
I'm 2 LaCroix deep right now. I'm feeling pretty spicy.
Oh my gosh, so much caffeine.
Oh, I know, or zero caffeine. Nonetheless, we are talking about making more and working less. This is the thing that everybody wants, and we wanted to bring you on, Jordan, for 2 reasons. Number one is you are so focused on scaling your life and your business right now. I thought you would be the perfect guest. And number 2, little teaser here, gang. Jordan is our newest coach with Hatch Coaching, a rainmaker and agent coach who's going to help everybody else to scale their life and their business. So you can jump on and team up with a bunch of us over at Hatch Coaching. And Jordan is our newest coach. So we're just thrilled to introduce him to you all as our newest tool in our toolbox. Did I call you a tool? I think I just called you a tool. Okay, either way, it's perfect. Jordan, give us a synopsis of your business, who you are, how'd you get into real estate? Give us the little 90-second intro.
Yeah. So I got licensed in 2017. February 1st was my first day on the job. I closed my first house that June, and then I started selling a lot of houses, 30 more the rest of that year. And then I started a team in 2018. And I just kept organically growing. My mindset has always been, how do I focus on the highest dollar producing activities and surround myself with really smart people that can help me do things that I'm not good at? And so that exercise over and over and over again has landed me 6 years later with, we just got named the #1 team in Denver by Denver Metro Association of Realtors. We now, and we're scaling. And so we have 30 agents, 10 staff, 7 VAs, lots of people. And what we're doing now is we're expanding our team by, we've created a company called Community, and Community, similar to Place, but different, where we're looking to partner with other agents in our market, other teams in our market, where we can really become their back end. So many people, they might be good at sales, but they're not so great at the organizational leadership and creating the structure. And that's something that from a previous career, I really got a chance to dial in. And so we've built a great system and a great structure, and we have amazing staff. And so we're now looking for ways to share and partner with other agents, either solo agents or other teams, where we can help kind of take care of the back end, focus on selling lots of houses. We'll deal with the rest. So that's kind of our newest endeavor. I'm dipping my toe in the water as a coach now. I'm pretty jazzed up of where we're at as a company and where I'm at in my business 6 years later.
Everything about you, Jordan, has been about growth, but it's been about simplifying, and literally it's been about making more and working less, so you can have more, so you can give more, so you can be more, so you can do more. And everything about you is about scale, which is why we think you're the perfect coach for what we're looking for, as well as why we think you're the perfect job that sets you up for this. Jordan, Andy's asking, what previous jobs prepared you best for real estate?
Oh man. So I was a pastor at a church for a decade. Previous to that, I worked in the parachurch organization world, but basically full-time vocational ministry. But I think the element of it that prepared me for what I'm doing now is I was leading, I was building teams and helping people and serving people. And I learned a lot about people, and I learned a lot about people that were dealing with hard things. I learned a lot about the people that were on my teams, and learning how to navigate and scale and build things. I think The greatest gift that I didn't know was a gift at the time is that I was part of a church organization that like 100x'd over a 10-year period. And I just learned how to scale things, and I learned how to be efficient. And I ultimately learned how to focus on the few things that I'm really good at and recognize the few things that are good in everybody else. And how do we work together? Because most real estate agents think that they're good at everything. It's the only business that I can think of outside of a handyman where you work alone. And real estate agents aren't good at everything. You're good at sales probably, but you're not good at organizational stuff. You're not good at administration stuff. You're not good at money. You're good at
the most successful doctors or entrepreneurs or business owners don't think that they can do everything. The ego of a realtor is irresponsible. To believe that, I don't need to hire anybody. That's crazy. It's a foolish idea. Jordan, you started spending money on real estate, and gang, I have 4 major bullet points, but this is so important that you understand the backstory of Jordan. When you started in February of, you said 2017, before you ever sold a house, you hired a coach.
Yep.
That is fascinating to me. Walk me through the coffee shop example that I've heard you share before.
Yeah. I hired a coach month 2. Month 1, I just banged my head against the wall and learned as much as I can about every type of business in the real estate world until I started to kind of figure out which direction I wanted to go. But the first move I made was hiring a coach. I hadn't sold a house. The next move I made was hiring an assistant. Still hadn't sold a house. I was just building. So the coffee shop analogy is, if any of us on this call were going to go start a coffee shop, you have this vision of owning a coffee shop. Well, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go get a business loan, and you're probably going to get a business loan of about $500,000-$600,000. And you're going to invest in some stuff. You're going to buy some tables and some chairs. You're going to get a retail space. You're going to sign a 10-year lease, sign your life away that you're going to somehow make that payment every month. You're going to go buy one of those big coffee machines. You're going to order product. You're going to get branding and logos and all this stuff. And you still haven't sold a cup of coffee. And then you have to hire some people because you can't do it all yourself. You have to have cleaning crews, and you have to have someone that's making the coffee and the cash register machine and the system to receive all the monies, and then the accounting and the CPA. And you do all this stuff and you still haven't had one sale. Yet then you have to figure out the marketing piece, and you do a big grand opening, and hopefully people show up, and hopefully they actually drink a cup of coffee that tastes good and they want to come back. And now you have a business, and you haven't even made your first payment on your, you've made payments on your debt, but you haven't made any money yet at this point. And so why, if someone could start a real estate business, which makes a lot more money than a coffee shop, would we not take a very similar approach? That to me was mind-boggling when I got in, and I was like, what are these people doing? Like,
and the 2 pieces you're talking about are coaching and leverage, right?
Yes.
Get somebody who's gone farther than you have and invest in that. And then the second piece is get somebody to take those things that you're not good at off your plate.
Yes. I mean,
and your risk margin on that, if you count those 2, is a few thousand a month versus the $500,000 plus that you just used in the coffee shop example.
Yeah. So within the first 6 months before I sold a house, I hired a coach. I built a website. I hired a lead manager. I started investing in leads. I hired a marketing company to help brand me and develop a logo and a structure and headshots. And like, I had all this stuff built out because I was building a business, and I knew I wanted to go somewhere with it, and I wasn't going to just get lucky. I had to be intentional and strategic. And so for me, I was going to build the building blocks, the foundation, because guess what I had in the beginning? I had time. That's the only thing I had. And I had some money. And if I didn't have money, I would have got a loan. Either way, I needed time and money, and I invested it, and that's how I built.
Yeah. Man, it is so perfect to have you as our guest host on this, because everything you've done is literally the points we're trying to make. Gang, I want to encourage you to take out a pen and a piece of paper, get your notes section ready, because I want to talk to you with major specificity about 4 do's and don'ts of what to do as you're looking to scale. And please keep these questions coming. I will do our best to walk through everything that you're looking at. Okay. Number one, this is your first do not. Jordan, you've heard me talk about this before. Some of you that have been on our webinars before have heard me talk about this. Don't start a big team. Unless you're a weirdo psychopath like Jordan or Erik right here, you shouldn't start a big team. Why is that, Jordan?
Why should you not start a team if what? I'm sorry.
Why should you not start a big team? Because you've heard me harp about how compound. The myth is I'm going to start a big team and that's where I'm going to make all my money.
So here's
the more people I hire, the more money I'm going to make, the more agents I bring on. It's just going to be this cash cow for me. And most people that are running teams are actually making less money than if they were staying on their own as a solo agent or a small team.
So the only people that should ever have a big team is because it happened organically. They built something, they had some kind of leadership skill, they had some kind of attraction skill, and they found a way to help a lot of people win, and it happened organically. The person that wants a big team for some stroke of ego is going to lose every time. The only reason we scale and the only reason we have is not for more money. I actually just love helping people build their businesses. Like I come to work every day. People ask me what my hobbies are, and I'm like, I just love my job. I like playing golf. I like traveling, and I like my job. That's my hobbies. Yeah. I don't collect cars. I don't collect watches. I don't play other weird sports. This is what I do. And I've said this many times to even people on my team. If it was about money, I would get rid of 75% of the people that are attached to me, and I would make more. Mm-hmm. But I actually like the building of business and helping people build their businesses. Nothing makes me sleep better at night knowing that, we have probably 9-10 people on our team that are on pace to make multiple six figures this year. That's exciting. And it makes me sleep better. I like knowing that I'm investing in helping them grow their worlds. Mm-hmm. So big teams aren't the ticket. But if you happen to have the leadership skill set and the passion and the drive, and you have the right intentions of wanting other people around you to win, maybe a big team makes sense. But it's definitely not always the most profitable.
Yeah, we were lulled into thinking from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which has been so instrumental in so many of our businesses. We've been lulled into thinking that this model of having a big team is the way in which we make all our cash. And I want to change your mindset. Here's the do not. So the note you want to make is do not start a big team. Do hire an agent partner. If you want to think big, you need to think small. And so this is what it looks like is your first hire should come when you're doing, I'd say 20 to 30 transactions a year. If you're like Jordan and you're like, I'm just going to use leverage from moment one, I'm going to invest in this either from your savings or from a small business loan. You can hire somebody to be that immediate leverage. Most people don't, yet most people should. So when somebody's at 20 or 30 transactions a year, you'll look to bring on an admin. If you are an agent on a real estate team, oftentimes that admin is already provided for you to do marketing, transaction coordinating, listing coordinating, a lot of the minutia killing things. But the piece I want to get your mind around is this. And I sat down, Jordan, with all my top agents on my team. And I was talking with a gal named Kirsten last week. Kirsten, in her first year of full production, she was an admin with us for a number of years, but her first year in full production, she closed 43 deals. That's huge for any agent, whether they're solo or on a team. And Kirsten's like, yeah, I'm going to try to grow by like 20% this year. I'm going to try to do 50 or 55 transactions. I'm like, Kirsten, I think you can do it better than that. And it's not about the transaction count. It is about making more and working less. And I said, what if you brought on an agent partner? And an agent partner is a licensed agent that makes a salary, and then they maybe get a little bump on each deal that they do. But this is now your 40-hour-a-week nurse to you being the doctor. This is the person that is showing homes for you and caring for the client and investing in so many things. And you will end up creating a really, really huge profit center. Jordan, I see the attendee list right now, and Rachel on your team, your former partner, is watching this right now. You did this model. You found success from this model. What are some of the major benefits of the agent partner role?
I think I think time. I mean, this is all about time. Return on time invested. If you can see the value of your time, and you can give your time to the highest dollar producing activities by partnering with other people who are either different places in their business or at different levels of skill set or different skill sets altogether, by allowing people to support you, it allows you to focus your time on the highest dollar producing activities. So I would say the first and foremost thing is it frees you up to do more of the big things. That's the first benefit. The second benefit is it creates a natural ecosystem of training. And so if you want to help people around you grow their real estate business, let them ride shotgun with you. Let them see everything that you do and hear everything that you say and ask why. Why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why did you talk to that agent that way? Why did you talk to that seller or that buyer that way? I want to understand what's going on in your mind. They're going to become really successful just by watching and being a part. And so the two biggest benefits is it's going to help you make more money, and it's going to help train people around you to be successful. And so it is in every sense the doctor with the doctor in residency. The doctor in residency doesn't make as much money, but they learn. It's the doctor. One of the doctors, the parent of one of the kids on my soccer team, was telling me about when he was in residency and he was making $35,000 a year with 2 kids and a wife living in an apartment. And I said, "How was that?" And he said, "It was
and $300,000 in debt."
Yep, and $300,000 in debt. And while the main doctor was making $400,000 a year, and I said, "How did that feel?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't like it, but at the end of the day, while I was operating, he was in the corner, not really paying attention, but he knew when I was making a mistake and accidentally sewing up the gauze in the body." And that's what keeps people alive.
Yeah.
And that's why he got paid the big bucks. And that's why I was learning. And so I think it's understanding that it is a path, it's a process, but at the same time, it is a slingshot to success. And for the rainmaker, for the main person, it is incredible leverage for you to scale your business. I'm pretty sure
to literally make more and work less. It is the quintessential definition. Rachel, who's watching right now, is having a year where she's going to be making 3x what she made last year, 4x, and it's because of this slingshot method. She came by Jordan's side, she held in that position, served her clients well, served Jordan well. She didn't get paid what Jordan got paid, but now she's about to, right? That's what's so fun about this. Jordan, am I missing anything else before we move on to the number 2 point?
No, the other analogy I would use is I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos didn't pack or ship any of those boxes of those books when he first started. You know what he was focused on? He hired someone to do that. He was focused on getting amazing people to help him scale and grow Amazon.com, right? He was hiring web developers. He was finding the best of the best. And he was focused on big level relationships, but he wasn't packing boxes and shipping them. Like that would have been a poor use of his time.
Yeah.
So leverage is key if you want to scale.
Oh, spot on. Again, we're talking about making more and working less. My cohort today, Jordan Terrell, Hatch Coaching's newest coach, and I are diving in deep. The second thing, please write this down. Do not go it alone. Instead, find strategic partnerships. Do not go it alone. Instead, find strategic partnerships. So let's talk about the first partnership. The first partnership that everybody has to choose is a brokerage. Jordan, you have brokerage hopped a little bit, looking for different things at different places at different times. What do you think somebody should look for in their brokerage? And this is not, Jordan and I are both at Real. This is not an endorsement of Real, but obviously it's a place that we found as home. I've been at Keller Williams. I've been at a couple of mom and pops. I've owned my own, and this is where I find myself today. And it's the best fit for me today. But Jordan, when it came to a brokerage, what were you looking for at different seasons of your life?
I think initially all I cared about was knowledge. How do I get around people that know more than me? I don't care what I make. I just want to learn as much as possible. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is money. And so that was initially.
Let me pause. That is rare. I don't think that most people, when they start off, say, I just need knowledge. Instead, people oftentimes say, I just need the biggest split. But you
Yeah.
instead you were hungry for knowledge. I love that.
Yeah. I want to rub shoulders with people that, I heard someone say one time, I want to sit on the shoulders of giants.
Mhm.
I've found some giants and I sat on their shoulders, and on their little Jordan on their shoulder, and just watched everything that they did. And for me, that was a big deal.
Mhm.
And then I jumped, and here's the jump that I made. And I'm not even going to talk about the name of the brokerage because it doesn't matter. The mistake I made is that I made a move to a brokerage because I let it stroke my ego, meaning I went to a brokerage because I liked being flattered. I liked what they were throwing at me. I liked what the shiny objects that they were putting in front of me versus who am I aligning with? My original move to a brokerage when I first started was right. I aligned with people. The second one was I kind of coded it with some alignment, but it was really more about like, this feels sexy. This feels cool. And real estate's not about being cool. It's about finding people you align with and running together. Because if you align with them, that means you share their values. You can learn from them. You can follow others. Because in every brokerage is big whales. Just make sure you're in alignment with those whales. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a business that you didn't even like.
I think and I want to give insight to this. I've been getting a ton of questions about why did I join Place? We're one of the top real estate teams in the country. We've aligned with Place. If you don't know about Place, it's place.com. I am now business partners with Ben Kinney, Chris Suarez, Chris Stewart, 3 of the giants in this industry. And here's the easiest thing that I can say is my greatest chance at becoming Ben Kinney was aligning and partnering with Ben Kinney. And I think that as agents are looking to join a team, they need to say, do I want to be like this team leader? Is this what I want? This partnership, this alignment. If somebody is in Denver, Colorado, and they say, man, I want to align with Jordan and I want to maybe consider community because I eventually want to be Jordan. I want to have the life Jordan has. I want to serve the way in which he serves. I want to golf. Well, you don't want to golf like Jordan golfs, but nonetheless, you want to do these things that align with where that top dog is. And so going to a place that you can look up to someone and you have a legit leader. For me, Jordan, having somebody that consistently challenges me and coaches me is one of the most important pieces in my business acumen, is to have somebody that I'm chasing and that's pulling me along that same way. What has that story been for you as you've aligned with coaches and brokerages and business partnerships and everything else? What do partnerships really mean to you?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think leadership is everyone wants to be a leader. You're only as good of a leader as you are a follower. So everyone needs to follow somebody, period. And if you're not following somebody, then you are getting ready to walk off a ledge. And you don't even know it. And people are following you is the problem. So leadership is important, but followership is just as important. As far as partnerships go, I think it comes down to, from day one, I've always had coaches. I've always had mentors. I played sports. And I like people looking at everything that I'm doing from an outside perspective, asking me questions that I don't think to ask. Likely if I'm leading people, they're going to follow me. They're not going to ask me hard questions. And so I think making sure that you're following the right people, but B, from a partnership standpoint, I think the collaboration is really powerful when you align with people and you go, hey, we're partners. Like we're going after this together. You're good at this. I'm good at that. And I think that in a lot of ways, a lot of people have said, Erik, you and Jordan are a lot alike. In fact, that was one of the reasons why that I found myself kind of hitching my wagon to Hatch Coaching and saying, I want to partner with Hatch Coaching, was because a lot of people kept saying, hey, have you met Erik Hatch? He's a lot like you. And so here I found a person that was a lot like me, that was further along than me and could give me a fast pass to the things I already wanted to build. Someone asked me yesterday, we were talking about coaching, and they said, do you think that you could have accomplished all that you've accomplished without having a coach? And I said, yes, it just would have cost me a lot more and taken me a lot longer. I actually think that I have the tenacity and the drive to go figure it out. But I'd rather save the money and the time and live my life a little bit. So it's the fast pass. So finding people that you align with, that's where my mindset is around coaching. My mindset around partnership is really just making sure that we're running the same race, and that our values are in the same place, and that we're not competing for something, but we're running together to help each other.
I think so often people look at joining a team, joining community, joining place, and you look at it and you say, well, what is this going to cost me? And what you're looking at is you're looking at this right here, the split on a transaction today. You say, well, what is this going to cost me? But I think that those that have the foresight look and say, well, am I getting 100% of an apple, or am I getting 50% of a watermelon? And that's an incredible opportunity, because I'd much rather have the watermelon all day, every day. In addition to that, you have to say, well, what are the other opportunities that will be brought to me because of this relationship? How big can my world get with the alignment with the giant? And that for me is so exciting. I have a guy in my world, Jordan, and you know him. His name's Kyle Reedstrom. And Kyle was an agent on my team for 6 or so years. He was one of my very first agent partners that we had ever hired, turned himself into an incredible businessman. And now he and I own a small little team together. He's the active partner. I'm the silent partner, but we've continued to align together. And he's like, he has that same adage as you, Jordan, is he says, you know, I probably could have got here on my own. But he goes on to say, I got here much faster and at a far less cost than what it would have taken to try to blaze this trail on my own. So I have to say, if you want to go and make more and work less, a strategic partnership is huge. So again, here's where we've been for the first half of our conversation. Do not start a big team, but do hire an agent partner. So think small if you want to go big. Remember, this is to make more and work less. The second is don't go it alone, but instead find strategic partnerships. That's how far we've been so far. Andy also is snarkily commenting that you and I, Jordan, are a lot alike because we use the same shampoo. Hardy har har. There's a ball joke. I don't need this anymore. Okay. Going on to number 3, Jordan, I got to say, one source of income is a do not rely on one sole source of income. Instead, do maximize your ways to earn. Jordan, would you be so kind as to share how your books looked in November and December? You don't have to give specific numbers. Just, was it good or was it not so good?
I would say more so December, January.
Okay. Yeah.
The sole source of income was painful, because it wasn't looking good. The analogy that I shared with you the other day, Eric, if you're, and I live in Colorado, so we go camping a lot. I don't, but people do.
You're far too.
I'm a glamper. I gotta have hot water and air conditioning. So if you're setting up a tent, the first thing you do, because you know it might get windy that night, is you're going to tie it down, and you're going to tie it down with like 5-6 different tie downs on all the different angles. A lot of us are building businesses with one tie down. And if the wind and the storms come, which they will, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, your tent's going to get blown down. Yeah. And so I know where you're going with this, Eric, but we need more tie downs.
Yeah, we absolutely do. And thanks for already seeing in your crystal ball where we're going. I looked at the business I was doing about 2 years ago, and I recognized that I only had a couple of income sources. One was my team, and my team provided, in a healthy season, a ton of money and a ton of time, and it was really great. And then as the seasons changed, it all of a sudden, I look back, and the last 3 months, and now April as well, I'll lose hundreds of thousands of dollars running a team. If I didn't have other revenue sources, I would be out of the business right now. I would have to shut everything down. But instead, because I have other tie downs, other things, there is an opportunity for you to earn a whole lot of money in this business. So again, I want you to take some notes. Here are some key areas that I encourage you to try to figure out how to build partnerships, business relationships with, and to essentially get dollars from. Number 1, mortgage. Mortgage, if you have somebody that you are feeding regularly, I believe that person can start investing in some leads with you. They're chasing the same leads that you are. And many platforms have it set up where that mortgage lender or that mortgage company can spend up to 50% of what you're spending. Or excuse me, if you're spending 10 grand, they can come in and spend 5 and you can spend 5. And so it's a way in which for you to save money. Jordan, you've relied on extra income coming from mortgage for how long now?
We started doing partnerships with a mortgage company, I think like year one. Like, I mean, it was pretty out of the gate. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of the first income opportunities I went after.
I want it to be clear, mortgage lenders need us. We are a massive vehicle for that. I'm not going to go into all the details of how and why and whatever, but if you're interested in a further conversation, Jordan and I would be happy to navigate through how we go through that. So mortgage is one. Number 2 is title. Title is that same thing. Those title companies need us oftentimes to feed and direct business to them. And so there are some opportunities for joint ventures or some co-marketing agreements that sort that help you to win with title. Number 3 would be insurance. Of that same vein, oftentimes we're directing people to insurance places, and there's a way in which for you to capitalize. At the very minimum, many of you are doing client events, ways to engage with your folks. Getting these people in the first kind of dip your toe in is to get these folks to help sponsor your events. It's their clients that are attending as well. They're going to be marketing right alongside you with it, and you can now share in some of those costs. But as we go and grow bigger, I think, Jordan, there's some really big ways in which for people to win. Property management, you and I don't do property management today, but we did get strategic when we saw an opportunity to join at Real. And there's some other brokerages that are set up similar to this. KW is the original opportunity in which for you to earn profit share. Revenue share is now a common language at places like Real and EXP and LPT. Jordan, what was your draw to the financial opportunity that a brokerage like Real provided for you?
I think that the way I've described it so many times, I mean, first and foremost, the beyond the financial piece was that I felt like Real was giving me a foundation to build whatever I wanted on top of. A lot of brokerages build a house on a foundation and invite you to be a part of their home under their rules. You kind of feel like you're a 16-year-old kid. You get some perks, but you have to follow the rules. And I'm not saying that Real wants to break rules. They just let me design my own playbook of whatever I want. So first and foremost, that to me was super attractive because I have a lot of ideas and I want to do the things I want to do. And so that was attractive. The other part that was attractive is that if I'm a regular agent, the fees are really low. If I'm a big agent with a following and a big team, they're going to pay me to be like a franchise owner, like a flagship. Like, I have some friends that own a Remax franchise, and they get paid to own that franchise, and they have a lot of agents. Mm-hmm. Well, rather than franchising like Remax did, Real went this model, and so I'm like a broker owner, if you will, an owner operator of a real estate company that happens to have a bunch of agents that are connected to me. Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that they want to help me win and take care of a territory for them within the company and care for that territory. And so to me, rather than giving a lot of money to my broker to be that for me, even though they weren't being that, they're paying me to do that. And I was already going to do it anyway. So I'm getting paid to do my job. That's always a fun day. Because
and some people should know, again, it's at I don't know all the things with LPT, but I do know a bit more about Real and EXP. And when you're doing about 30 transactions a year, you essentially get paid to be at that brokerage. That doesn't include agent attraction. That doesn't include anything else. That's just stock benefit that you're receiving. It's a big win.
Huge win. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pay me to be a flagship real estate agent in the company. And because we were already doing that before. Yeah. We didn't get any benefit from it.
Here's the math I broke down with a group that was just considering joining and did join. I had said to them, they have about 20 agents on their team, and I had asked them, how many agents do you lose off your team and bring onto your team every year? And they said, well, we've been about 20 agents for the last 5 or so years. So let's just use that as the round number, 20. But they'll see about 25% of their team leave. They'll see 5 agents leave each year. They'll go independent. Maybe they'll get out of the business, but they'll add 5 and lose 5. I simply said, well, you're already in the agent attraction business. Those of you that are running a team, you're already in the agent attraction business. What happens is when those people leave you, are you still benefiting from the investment that you made in them? And that's such a draw and an opportunity. And so as we looked at it, we saw that in 10 years, if they just keep doing what they're doing, they're going to passively be making over $100,000 a year just in revenue share from people that are no longer on their team. Of course, their team is still their bread and butter, and they don't want to be in the agent attraction business, but they're running a team, which means they are in the agent attraction business. They don't have to go out and recruit or aggressively go, but instead they can simply monetize and maximize. And so as you're looking at a way in which to make more and work less, you need to have other tie downs, as Jordan alluded to. You need to have other revenue sources. We talked about mortgage and title and insurance and the brokerage that you're at and property management. For me, coaching is another one of those areas that I maximize. And I say, well, what am I doing? And is there other revenue sources? And Jordan, you're adding coaching to your repertoire as well now. Am I missing anything that jumps out at you of other ways to make money off of doing the same thing?
Yeah, it's the sawdust, right? Like, can we monetize the sawdust and turn it into something to make money? We're already feeding so many other businesses, and I think, are you missing anything? I mean, there's 100 things that we could do. It's just a matter of which things are the lowest hanging fruit and make the most sense that don't take us away from the main thing that feeds them all. So nothing that you've missed that are not top of mind.
Mm-hmm. Can you give me a sawdust example?
Well, I think that, there's lumber companies that will just saw a bunch of wood all day and cut wood for people. And then what they could do is they could sell that sawdust. There's people that actually need that because then they form particle wood out of it. And a lot of times it's just thrown away. It's the waste of our business that we fail to utilize a lot of times. It's the company that makes that makes fur coats, but they have all these little pieces of fur, but they could make purses out of those fur. There's so many things that you can do with the excess of your business. Alex Hormozy always talks about it's the waste that we forget about. There's people with cars that are sitting in garages. Why not find a way to get that thing turboed, making you money?
Yeah.
There's so many ways to make money if we just sat and thought for a second. How do we monetize more of our life?
Let's say you have an office, but you have a large conference room and that sort. It's pretty easy to rent that out to other folks because you use it for 2 hours a week. I know we've monetized that. One of the monetization pieces, and I want to use this as a promo. This is an intentional promo, by the way. You need to understand I'm an investor in this company. But I don't know if you've heard of Fellow before. We're going to provide a link for you to Fellow here in the follow-up email, as well as for those of you that are watching this on YouTube. Fellow is a company that goes to your database and it goes through your sawdust and it essentially drums up new at-bats and opportunities for you. We turned Fellow on 45 days ago, and I think we've added 5 or 6 listing appointments in the last 45 days. That's about a new listing appointment a week. And I'm not having to pay for new leads. I'm instead going into my sawdust and trying to create those opportunities. So we have to start thinking about how do we work harder and how do we work smarter and not harder? I'd probably work harder and not smarter. That's certainly a path I've taken too. But Jordan, we're going to move to the last one because we are talking about making more and working less, the American dream. Woo, Dusty Rhodes. I hope you get that as a wrestling fan from 1983. Nonetheless, here it is. Do not misinterpret the season. Do act accordingly. Let me say that again. Do not misinterpret the season. Do act accordingly. Jordan, the mistake I see people make far too often is that they lean in and they say, I'm getting out of production, and they're committed to it. I got a buddy named Josh who's been trying to get out of production. And so he handed off everything to his team. And then he saw his numbers go from here all the way to here. And so he recognized the season and had to get back into production. I think that far too many agents are misinterpreting the season right now. And if you want to work less and make more, if that's the dream we're chasing, you have to be fully aware of the weather that's around you. Jordan, you and I have seen a lot of agents and team leaders that were out of production jump back into production in the last few months, haven't they?
For sure. Yes.
Why? Why are they leaning on and jumping back into production?
Well, it's kind of like the quickest analogy I can think of is if you pull Tom Brady to put in the backup quarterback because you're up by 6 touchdowns for the last 2 quarters, but all of a sudden the other team scores 4 or 5 touchdowns. You throw him back in because he's Tom Brady and he's the biggest producer on the team. Like, and I think that's what's happening is all of a sudden the numbers are diving and the team leader, the rainmaker, is typically pretty masterful at converting, closing, and getting things done efficiently as fast as possible. So that's why it's happening, because they're losing money. And they're about to go bankrupt.
That Tom Brady example is so spot on. That's so good. I think that there's a little nuance piece there that I want to unpack for just a moment. Sometimes you can't make more and work less. Sometimes the only solution is to work more if you want to make more. And that's the point that I'm trying to iterate here, is that when the seasons change, when you were up 6 touchdowns and now it's a 1-score game, when that happens, you cannot sit on the bench. You cannot let leverage hopefully work itself out. It means you have to get your hands dirty. You have to get back into production. You have to rush towards that, even though you've thought you've earned your way out of that. You cannot sit idly by and watch the opportunities slip through you. Does that feel accurate, Jordan?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was in an interesting spot, right? Like I lost more money in January than I've ever lost in my entire life. In fact, I made a joke. I lost more money in December, January than I made in 3 years at my previous job. So it's funny to say that. It's not really that funny, but I was also in a transition to getting out of production while this was happening. And I'm uniquely wired in such a way where it actually still made sense for me to stay on that path. And I would say that 99.9% of people shouldn't do what I did. But I was on the brink of going, is this the right decision, or should I jump back in, or what am I doing here? But I'm very confident in my path and what I'm building, and the structure and the leadership was needed to keep building. So I made that decision. But I think a lot of people, it's imperative that they stay focused and do the hard job. People, it's about ego. People want to build a big team because it strokes their ego. They want to get out of production because it strokes their ego. You know what strokes your ego more than anything? Profit. And so so make money. Don't try to have a big team. Don't try to have a lot of sales. Like if you sell 500 homes but you only made 300,000, then you should have just sold 40 on your own.
1,000%. We're gonna wrap here in the next 5 minutes, folks. So questions that you have, those of you that are watching live, start throwing them our way. Shelly asks this. She says, have you ever coached someone who failed anyway? What perspective did you take from that? I have a bunch of people that I've coached and I'm still coaching that use coaching. And Jordan, I think you used this earlier on social media today. People use coaching as entertainment, and they're not using it as like the actual blueprint to follow. The biggest issue that people have in this industry is not a lack of information. It's a lack of implementation. Everything you need is out there right now. All the resources, all the thoughts, every last idea is out there on the internet, and your coaches are telling it to you. The reason why people fail is because they don't actually follow the plan. They think that their way is the better way. And I've said this to my team for the last year, and I'm going to say it to you all right now. Did you hit your goals in the last 12 months? Let me pause. Did you hit your goals in the last 12 months? There's a really good chance the answer is no. And so what I'm going to tell you is this, is your way didn't work. And so to find a leader or a guide that's going to be able to challenge you on those things and help you to get to where you need to get to is going to help you reach your goals, period, bar none. You will not achieve success on your own. If you think you're self-made, you are not leaning on the talent that's around you. Because if you can go, Sharon over at Real, he's our president, he says, oftentimes you've heard that the adage, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And what he says is when you have kindred spirits, you can do both. You can go fast and go far. And so I don't think anybody out here is self-made. And those that are achieving the highest places in life are doing so with great coaching, great partnership, the right kind of alignment with folks. Any thoughts on that, Jordo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a team sport guy. I've always played team sports. I didn't play the solo sports. And I think there's certain things that are appealing to a solo sport. But at the end of the day, I'm just incredibly fascinated by the different gifts of people in a room. Everyone, like, I really do see that the body as a functioning whole, but some people are a right arm and some people are a left arm and some people are right. We can't accomplish as much. And I'm fascinated by Rachel, who, when she joined me as a real estate partner, I became a better real estate professional to the client. We together were better. She was more organized. She was more articulate, of really understanding the nuances of all the things that they needed, where I just kind of personality my way through the sale and just kind of led and took control, but I didn't always hear what they actually needed, where she would slow us down and say, hey, you have a question, don't you? And I'll be like, oh, I guess they have a question. I haven't even considered that they might have a question. But when you start allowing people around you to work with you, you start to see, and whether that's the coach or whether that's the teammate or whether that's the follower, whoever it is, it's going to make you better. It's a 360-degree partnership. And we're only as good as the people that we're surrounded by. And I'm just fascinated by it. And I'm really good at a few things and horrible at a lot of others, but I'm still successful because I'm bought into this idea.
The moral of the story is find some partnerships, y'all. Business partners and coaches and the right tribe to roll with, the right brokerage to align with. All those things are going to be so imperative. Andy's asking this question: when do you recommend that an agent gets out of production? Getting out of production is on the other side of having consistent income that is coming in through somebody that you trust inherently, somebody or some buddies. There's a book I recommend all of you read. It's a book called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. And oftentimes we're looking for a how. We think that there's like a magical solution, when realistically the answer to almost everything you want in life is a key who. And so use that mindset. For me, when I chose to get out of production, it was the day my daughter was born 8.5 years ago. I no longer was going to commit myself to serving my clients. I was just going to serve my team. And so I had a hard stop when I knew all the work I needed to do. And so in order to do that, I had to prepare people to handle my business. I had to prepare people to serve our clients. And I had to make sure that they were ready to take that over. And so for me, I had a hard stop that I reverse engineered, and I just poured into making sure the who's were taken care of.
The other way I would say it, Eric, is if you want to get out of production, you better be a really amazing leader. With a mindset of service, not just do what I say. Great leaders serve people. And I think a lot of real estate agents fail of the getting out of production thing because they train up a bunch of people. They say, good luck, make a bunch of money for me so I can go play golf. Doesn't work that way. You're probably going to spend just as much time serving them. It might buy you some nights and weekends. It might actually buy you some more income, but it doesn't mean you get to stop working. Like, leadership is really key to this. And what I didn't know is that I spent 10 years developing my leadership gift long before real estate. I got to practice on how to serve people for a long time before I was in a position where someone actually wanted to, not only, I was always good at getting people to want to follow me. Getting people to stick with me is a different level of leadership. Yeah. And that takes a lot of love and care for the people around you. And I'm still learning. I still make mistakes. Like every day I get slapped in the face of like, I could do better. I could serve this person better. I could listen better. All the things.
Gang, here's the scoop. Obviously, if you are feeling what I'm feeling, Jordan knows what the heck he's talking about, and he is available to be our newest coach at Hatch Coaching. So if you're a rainmaker or an agent looking to scale your business and you want to figure out how to make more and work less, our scaling king is Jordan Terrell. So go to hatchcoaching.com if you're interested in learning about Jordan and doing an exploratory session to see if he'd be the right fit for you, as well as we got a bunch of other coaches and opportunities. But man, Jordan is my favorite. So sorry, Robbie. Sorry, Connor, letting them down. In addition to that, I want to give you two gifts, and it's what's hanging over my left shoulder, that book and that book. If you DM me on Instagram, DM me one keyword, and don't put any other text in there, just one word, because the AI will take over. The first word is blueprint, and that's how you get the perfect real estate agent blueprint. The second word is leadership. That's how you get play for the person next to you, Jordan Terrell's favorite book. And so what you need to do is DM me individually each of those words, and we'll go ahead and grab your information, get you the link where you can get those books for free. You just pay shipping and handling. So that's our gift to you. We're also going to send you out some information about Fellow that I talked about. And then finally, Jordan as a coach has a very limited amount of slots. And so I think we have right now 3 or 4 open slots for people that want to give Jordan a run. You don't have to be locked into a long-term contract by any means. Give it a test drive for a few months, see if it fits and feels right, if this is going to be your next strategic partner. But on behalf of Jordan Terrell, my name is Erik Hatch of Hatch Broker by Real, partnered with Place. That's so much to say, as well as with Hatch Coaching. We hope you learn to make more and work less today. Otherwise, we will catch you on the flippity flip. Much love. And thanks, Jordan.
Yep. See you guys.